Alright, what's going on, guys? I honestly did not really feel like making a video today, but we're driving in and out right now, and we're getting 6 meat patties, no salt. Get 60 grams of protein real quick. Could I make this at home? I guess so. Do I want to wash some dishes though? I mean, not really. And I also want to go to Ralph's. I want to get like a little bit of kefir, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I was just on Instagram a little bit earlier, and my whole Instagram page is just like kind of fitness content. And I was looking at I was looking at a coach. Pretty much, well, I do look like a fat tread right now. That's kind of why I didn't want to record the video today, but he was just talking about how a lot of fitness coaches don't necessarily like stick with it in the long term. And I mean, shit, dude. I stopped for no good reason. I think like I was in a really bad spot, you know. Ultimately though, it's up to me to fix it no matter what. Like, it's my responsibility, it's my life, it's my passion. Why am I going to let anything else like get in the way of that, you know? But aside from like something getting in the way, there's also the point of just being like depressed. And I mean, I've struggled with depression here and there, like honestly throughout my childhood. But the main reason why it's so dangerous is because that feeling, you get used to it, you know? You get used to getting stuck in a pit, and it's almost like comforting after a certain point, because I mean, you just like you're so encapsulated within your comfort zone. Even like the slightest step out of it just feels almost like the whole world's gonna end, right? Like that anxiety is there. But regardless of all of that, regardless of all the anxiety that I used to have, or all the depression that I might have had in the past, it's really about cultivating a desire. Like, how do you even cultivate a desire to make sure that never happens again, you know? Because momentum is definitely a thing, and right now I'm in this spot where I'm building things back up, and I want to keep momentum. I want to build momentum as much as I can. And the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that when I was back and focused on the gym when I was in high school, the main thing that drove me was being obsessed. I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would get everything in. I would make sure I would, like, it was my whole entire, like, world, pretty much. And I think for some reason, I failed to reconcile, you know, the possibility of independence through this career. And considering with the fact that I had a huge passion for fitness at the time, it was what it boiled down to was a lack of faith in myself, a lack of faith in my ability to actually procure the content on a consistent basis and to provide good value. I think it has mostly to do with the fact that I didn't necessarily tell stories, you know, with my videos. I would maybe have bits of insight here and there. However, I never wanted anything to be scripted. And I think that's where this like difference comes in, where, you know, every single time that I record a video, I want to make sure that it feels as authentic as possible. And that genuinely comes from a place where, you know, you don't really, I think it's I don't think it was Jim Carrey. I think it might have been Alan Watts, you know, but being able to kind of continue a conversation without having any idea where your next, or what your next word is going to be. It's a skill. It's a skill that you have to develop that comes with actually talking, you know, for a while. But not only just like talking to your camera, getting used to just like doing stuff like that. It's also not being like stupid and not being like trying to save video ideas for later without necessarily like writing them down in full detail. Like every time you get an idea, you know, you can kind of think of this. I read like a Rick Rubin's book about the creative act, and he talks about the source. And basically, one of the ideas that he talks about in regarding source, or like, you know, having, you can think of it as a collective conscious even, or like how when some ideas seem to emerge, You know, sometimes like two people have a similar idea at once is what I'm trying to say, you know? And maybe you may have an idea for something that, you know, is just like, it seems like a great idea, but if you don't act upon it and you continue not to act upon it, you're probably going to see that somewhere in like some way, shape, or form in your own future. And that's just what I personally noticed. Like, for instance, when I was getting into fitness, like, I'll relate this specifically. When I was getting into fitness, one of the things that I was really caring about was my hormone health, right? And I mean, that has to do with a lot of stuff. It has to do with microplastics. It has to do with, you know, the foods that you eat. Let me go to Ralph's first, actually. It has to do with not only microplastics, food you eat, but like, you know, there's a lot of stuff like water. Regardless, I always wanted to get something that was like, you know, microplastic free for my oral care and like, you know, my hygiene and stuff. So I got like a bamboo toothbrush with boar hair bristles, right? Fire. That's innovation, but like something I wish I thought of was like to have that thing be electric, you know, because someone made it. And I just saw it on my Instagram the other day. I was just like, dang, it's a pretty good idea, you know? But it just like goes to show, like, I was just like thinking about the evolution more so of the fitness industry and how people are becoming more aware of issues in the industry. And I find it like really cool to see that the industry is still growing, you know? What does this have to do with like talking and like, you know, recording the videos and depression and stuff? Well, I mean, it's a point of interest, right? Fitness is a point of interest, and the fact that it's constantly growing, you know, it kind of relieves me in a sense, because I was always kind of scared of losing my best years, like, for example, you know, because I definitely should have started at like 16 and I'm 20 now. That's crazy. Like, the more I think about that, the more mad I should be at myself. I don't really think that I think about that enough. But the fact that, you know, this is like really a lifetime thing. Like, you're always going to be conscious of your health. It's not, if it's not in the back of your mind, you know, it'll come up eventually if you just don't take care of it, you know, so always be proactive in that regard. And so I really am like, I want to be one of those voices that help incite change for people in a positive way for the future, and to help like kind of guide the fitness industry in a better way. Because I can see there are variations, bro, where there's like, you know, in the fitness industry, there's people that don't really like make it a better place, and there's like trends that don't really make it a better place, you know? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like we've been aware of this. Like, we've seen the evolution of this shit, right? You can go into like back into Ziz era, right? And if anyone in my audience even like knows what I'm talking, if anyone like sees this video, that'd be pretty dope. But if you go back to like Ziz area, like that's like aesthetic, like that's really peak. I feel like David Lade, Ziz, that's like really, really peak, you know? And then, you know, Sebum, I think, is a really prime figure, again, like a good modern era bodybuilder, right? I think it more so has to do with social media and stuff, like, you know, there's like all this like boof, you know, like dark psyche, like dark psychology, like cringe Gen Z, like 13-year-old, like even when I was like a 16-year-old or like a 15-year-old in the gym, you know what I mean? Like, I understood you had to tweak out and stuff, you know, but then there's like not necessarily like tweak out in public, you know what I mean? Like, you have to get angry in the gym, you know, but like you're not supposed to just be like a complete cornball. And so I think if more people, you know, like looking at like the raw return movement and like the primal kind of stuff, I'm a big proponent, you know, of whole foods, and you know, I don't think there's a shortcut around that. If you really like want to get into esoteric stuff, you know, like stuff like Shilajit and like ways to optimize stuff like magnesium glycinate before you go to bed. There's a lot of stuff over there, right? But I really want to just emphasize with like all the new peptides and all the new stuff going out that whole foods like really are a game changer, especially understanding how your own diet and your, like, you know, your physiology actually works. It is just immaculate. That's all I can say. I really just like want to look more into that direction. But on top of that, I think that for everyone, there's a point in the gym, you know, where you're trying to integrate not necessarily integrate, but I'm talking about you have a goal, you have a desire, you know, that you actually want to achieve in the gym. That's why you're there. To be able to connect with that, and to also be able to connect with that on like a consistent basis. Because I feel like a lot of times people go to the gym like a ghost, like, you know, they go through the steps, but that's not how the gym works. You know, the more you put in, the more you put out. Rich Piana, right? Being able to achieve that peak of intensity on a consistent basis is a skill, and it is a mental skill more than anything. It involves a lot of meditation and deep thinking, and I think like most people don't truly understand how much brain power the gym like takes. Like, it sounds stupid, but there's a lot of focus and concentration that the gym requires. Like, when you're pushing your body to, like, you know, muscular failure, and you simultaneously want to achieve perfect form, you want to sculpt this like physique, there's so much involved, like so much concentration. People don't really truly appreciate the art for it, or appreciate the art of it, until they like get deep into it, right? And my goal is to show people that, like, it's to show people how it's not just meathead gym, lift weight, put down weight. You know, it's that sometimes, but like there's more to it, you know. Well, that's all for today. I think I'm satisfied with this take. So peace out, you guys. Have a good night.